Isakwa ry'aho Jeffrey Epstein yabaga. Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico ranch searched by state agents over dead body tips. Investigators scoured the secluded Zorro Ranch after newly released federal files revived claims that two girls may have been buried on the property. Abagenzacyaha bakaba bagiye gusaka aho Jeffrey Epstein yabaga kubera ko bakeka ko haba hari imirambo yaba yaratabwe aho yari atuye. State investigators has launched a new search of Jeffrey Epstein's remote New Mexico ranch after explosive allegations that the body of two girls may have been buried on the sprawling property, fasting along quiet Zorro Ranch back in the center of public. Authorities in New Mexico began searching the former Zorro Ranch as a part of reopened criminal investigation into alleged crimes linked to the late financial and convicted sex offender. Inzego z'umutekano zo muri New Mexico zikaba zatangiye gushakisha ndetse no gusaka aho uyu mugabo yari atuye wahoze ari umucungamari ndetse wahamwe n'ibyaha bijyanye n'ihohotera rishingiye ku gitsina. The operation was ordered by State Attorney General Raúl Torrez after previous sealed federal investigative file revealed disturbing claims about activity at the ranch. Let's listen to what Republican Melanie Stansbury is saying.
Not a partisan issue. Holding perpetrators accountable who are committing sexual crimes against minors and sex trafficking women should not be a partisan issue. And in New Mexico, we are leading the way. We are the only state in the country to open a truth commission, and we are reopening an investigation that New Mexico had already undertaken into very serious crimes that included both sex trafficking of women and minors into New Mexico to Zorro Ranch, but there's also allegations in the files that became unsealed because of the work Congress is doing that show that there may have been a double homicide of two women who may have been buried at the property. And so that's why the AG has reopened an criminal investigation into the property. But I also want to emphasize that we need the Department of Justice at the federal level to do its job. You know, people are asking Congress, why haven't you prosecuted? Why have you not turned the Epstein files into Epstein trials? That's because the job of doing so is the job of the U.S. Department of Justice. And as we've seen, they've obstructed this investigation for decades, and certainly during the current administration, they're failing to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. They're refusing to release files, and now they're covering up files that implicate the president in a potential crime.
Umurepublikani witwa Melanie Stansbury aravuga ati umuntu wese ukora ibyaha bishingiye guhohotera abana batujuje imyaka cyangwa gucuruza abagore nta burenganzira cyangwa ibyo bigomba gukurikirwa. Hashize igihe kinini dusaba ko izi mpapuro zashyirwa hanze za Eipstein files, ariko zaje gushyirwa hanze zinashyizwe hanze, bimwe mu byanditsemo bigenda bihishwa cyangwa bigirwa amabanga kubera nk'inyandiko zigaragaramo umukuru w'igihugu ari we Perezida Donald Trump zagiye zisibwa. Officials say the search could help determine whether evidence remains years after Epstein's death in Manhattan Jail 2019. The New Mexico Department of Justice confirmed that investigators supported by the New Mexico State Police and Sandoval County Sheriff's Office began searching the property under Torres's direction. The operation marks the first known comprehensive state search of Epstein New Mexico estate. Barakubwira ko inzego z'umutekano zatangiye gusaka aho Epstein yari atuye, hakaba hitwa Zorro Property mu gace ka New Mexico. At the direction of Attorney General Torrez, the New Mexico Department of Justice initiated a search this morning of the Zorro Ranch property previously owned by Jeffrey Epstein, the agency said in a statement. Officials said the search is tied to a broader criminal investigation announced on 19th of February 2026 examining allegations of illegal activity at the ranch before Epstein's death. Authorities urged the public to avoid the area and refrain from flying drones near the property to prevent interference with investigation. Itangazo ryashyizwe hanze bakaba bavuze ko inzego z'umutekano zatangiye gusaka aho Epstein yabaga mbere y'uko apfira muri gereza mu mwaka w'2019 i Manhattan aho yari afungiye, kubera ko hakekwa ko haba harahambwe abakobwa baba barishwe nyuma yo gucuruzwa cyangwa gusambanywa. Zibuza n'abantu kwegera aho hantu ndetse no kuba bagurutsa amadrone yabo kugira ngo bareke inzego z'umutekano zikore akazi kazo. The renewed probe was prompted in part by information contained in recently released Department of Justice file related to Epstein. Among the most striking claims is allegation that Epstein ordered the burial of 2 foreign girls in hills surrounding the ranch. That allegation appeared in 2019 email from a person claiming to be a former employee at the property. In the message include how the girls were killed. Investigators have not confirmed the credibility of the claim, but state officials say it warrants examination given the scale of Epstein's alleged trafficking network. Batangiye gushakisha imibiri y'aba bantu bigendeye kuri email cyangwa ubutumwa bugufi bwoherejwe ngo n'uwahoze akorera Epstein avuga ko bahambye cyangwa bashyinguye abakobwa babiri b'abanyamahanga bapfuye bari gusambanywa. Inzego z'umutekano zikavuga ko nta gihamya ariko ubwo butumwa aribwo bwatumye bagomba gushakisha. Zorro Ranch sits about 48 kilometers south of Santa Fe near the rural community of Stanley, New Mexico. Jeffrey Epstein purchased the vast property in 1993 from the family of former New Mexico Governor Bruce King. The estate spans thousands of acres and includes a large hilltop mansion and private airstrip. Former employees and accusers have alleged that Epstein flew young women and guests to the ranch for visits that something involved sexual exploitation. Several Epstein accusers have said they were abused at the property. Annie Farmer, for example, testified in court feelings that she was abused there as a teenager in 1990s. The allegation formed part of broader claim that Epstein trafficking underage girls across multiple property in the United States and abroad. Abashinja Jeffrey Epstein barimo bamukoreye ndetse n'uwitwa Annie Farmer watanze ubuhamya avuga ko yasambanyijwe kuri ubwo butaka aho ngaho Epstein yari afite inzu mu mwaka w'1990. Iyo nzu Jeffrey Epstein akaba yarayiguze mu mwaka w'1993 ayiguze n'uwahoze ari guverineri wa New Mexico witwa Bruce King. Despite the accusation, Epstein was never charged with crimes specifically related to activity in New Mexico. However, state investigators interviewed potential victims who visited the ranch during 2019 inquiries. The investigation was halted later than a year at the request of federal prosecutors in New York, who were pursuing their own case against Epstein. The financier died by suicide in August 2019 while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charge involving dozens of underage victims. Mu mwaka wa 2019 umwe mu bahohotewe na Jeffrey Epstein yari arimo kwerekeza aho Jeffrey Epstein yabaga muri New Mexico, ariko prosecutor cyangwa umucamanza w'i New York aburizamo icyo kirego kubera ko nabo bari gukurikirana Jeffrey Epstein muri icyo gihe. Ndetse mu mwaka wa 2019 mu kwa munani nibwo Jeffrey Epstein yapfiriye muri gereza atari yajyanwa imbere y'ubutabera. The current investigation gained momentum after U.S. Department of Justice released millions of documents related to Epstein early in 2026. The files contained witness statements, investigative leads, and previews and closed tips submitted to federal authorities. Ibi birego bikaba byarongeye kubyutswa nyuma y'uko leta Zunze Ubumwe za Amerika ishyize hanze zimwe mu mpapuro zirimo amabanga ya Epstein yiganjemo ubuhamya ndetse n'ibirego birega Jeffrey Epstein. Among them was the email alleging the burial of two girls near the ranch. While the claim remained unverified, Torres said the newly surfaced information justified reopening the case. State officials emphasized that the investigation is focused on determining whether crimes occurred in New Mexico and whether additional victims or evidence can still be identified. The passage of time presents challenge. Epstein last controlled the ranch before his death in 2019, meaning investigators are working years after the alleged event occurred. Nevertheless, forensic methods such as cadaver dogs and ground analysis may still detect evidence of buried remains or disturbed soil. Jeffrey Epstein akaba yari afite uburenganzira mbere ya 2019 mbere y'uko ajyanwa gufungwa. Ni ukuvuga ko iri shakishwa ribaye hashize igihe kirekire, ariko inzego z'umutekano ndetse n'ubuhanga bukoreshwa ubu bikaba byizeza ko ari ibyabasha gutahurwa. Zorro Ranch is no longer owned by Epstein estate. The property was sold in 2023 to the family of Texas businessman and former state senator Don Hoffness, with proceeds directed to creditors of Epstein estate. State officials say the current owners have cooperated with investigators and granted access for the search. The search authorities have not disclosed how long the operation will continue or whether any evidence has been recovered. Meanwhile, New Mexico lawmakers have also launched a bipartisan truth commission tasked with examining Epstein's activity in state and determining whether institutional failure allowed alleged abuse to go unchecked for years. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestion, recommendation, write a comment. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bivugwa ko hano hantu Jeffrey Epstein yabaga hagurishijwe mu mwaka w'2023, hagurishwa ku wahoze ari umusenateri wa Leta Zunze Ubumwe za Amerika witwa Don Hoffness. Abafite uyu mutungo bakaba bari gukorana n'inzego za leta ndetse bakaba baremereye inzego za leta kuhinjira zigasaka nta kibazo. Ariko hakaba hari n'abatangije ikirego bavuga ko igihe Jeffrey Epstein yahabaga akora n'ibyo binyuranye n'amategeko baba barirengagije, bityo bakamuha icyuho cyo kuguma ahemuka ndetse acuruza, asambanya ndetse akora n'ibitemewe n'amategeko. Wakoze kubana nanjye, ari ibitekerezo cyangwa inyunganizi wanyandikiye muri comment. Nibagiwe kandi like na subscribe. Urakoze, ugira ibihe byiza.